Good Tuesday evening to you, East Texas. We're currently in the World Series, so we're not going to be broadcasting for a while. I think the Braves are up right now, but who knows who will win. You're probably going to view this video in a couple of hours anyway. But I wanted to give you a full updated analysis on what we have going on tomorrow morning, because we do have the potential of some stronger storms. This isn't going to be a complete washout for your Wednesday or anything like that. It's just one of those things that it's going to be annoying and it's going to kind of get in the way of your evening plan. So let me go ahead and show you our next storm system. And again, it's well off to our west. We'll go a little more in depth with you here as we look at our analysis. And there you go. Showers and thunderstorms right now to our northwest. You can see pretty potent line of severe storms extending from Vernon, Texas, all the way just out to the west of Haskell. I know there's a lot of good bird hunting out there. A lot of the bird hunters are going out at this time of year because it's getting cooler. But again, I'm not a bird hunter, so I wouldn't know much about that. And we're going to continue to see additional development, and eventually we're going to see a line through Schneider, just to the east of Big Spring, and all the way almost down to the border of Mexico right here. But once again, here in East Texas, we are dealing with a few light showers right now, and it will be interesting to see what exactly these showers do, but I'm not expecting them to be of any sort of potency or anything like that. I just think they're going to be kind of nuisance showers that are going to kind of get in the way tonight. But we will take the extra rainfall where we can get it. Let me actually look at our Houston radar site just to see how heavy these are. And again, these aren't very heavy. These are on the light side. So the location of the cold front right now is well out to our west. So it's going to take its sweet time getting here. And as a result, we're not going to really see these storms take effect until well after midnight tonight. Closer look at home. Again, not a lot going on, but you can see the storms well out to our northwest. And I tell you guys, it is warm. That's not good news if we want to avoid severe weather. And unfortunately, we will have to watch out for the potential of some stronger storms as we go into tomorrow morning. But again, this is as of 9:50. Temperatures are in the 70s right now. Eventually, we will see those temps drop into the lower 70s, but that's as low as we get. Now, another ingredient in addition to those warmer temperatures will be that wind energy that we are seeing right now. I mean, look at those wind speeds. As you can see on your screen right there, I mean, we are seeing it anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. I'm sorry I kind of have to shout, but I do have to turn the volume down in the studio so we're not distracted by some of the editing they're doing. But once again, windy out to the west, not as windy here in East Texas, but eventually those will start to pick up as the nighttime progresses. So that's one element of energy. And anytime you have this wind energy right here, you do tend to see more of what we call wind shear, and that tends to make our storms a little stronger, not only from a damaging wind standpoint, but it also increases our tornado threat. Now, the tornado threat's low. Let's get that out of the way right now, but it is definitely there with some of the latest data that we've had in. And again, this is not going to be a tornado outbreak by any stretch of the imagination, but a minor spin up or two cannot be ruled out. This is the rotation potential, or something that we call storm relative helicity. That's just a measurement. That's a big word us meteorologists use to assess the tornado potential. And this is what it's going to do here over the next several hours. So we'll let this play out. 11 o'clock, not doing much. After midnight, you see all those yellows, even some oranges starting to show up in deep East Texas. That's where the main threat of those spin-up tornadoes will be. But once again, that tornado threat is low. I can't emphasize that enough. And our severe weather threat is going to be relatively limited because of the time of day that this storm is occurring. Let me go ahead and explain that on FUTURECAST. Again, warm front's going to set up to our east. That will usher in the warmer air. Winds will increase after midnight. As you can see, that line is starting to approach the DFW area by then, while we just have some light showers here and there in East Texas. So I don't expect you to be awoken by these storms or anything like that. This is just going to be a nuisance to you for your Wednesday morning commute. So please be very careful Wednesday morning. Here's the reason why. By 3 o'clock, we're still seeing the storms out to our west. By 6, 7 o'clock, that's when we're going to start to see the evidence of rain in our western counties. Now watch what happens after 7. We roll into 8, 9. This line starts to intensify a little bit because the sun will come up, and as a result, it has a little more energy to work with. And then we kind of see a bowing segment within that line. Now this can mean one of two things. One, the storm could start to blow itself out a little bit, meaning we're going to have the leading edge of this line be a very intense spot for those damaging winds, perhaps up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. And we could also see the off threat of an isolated tornado or two on the leading edge of the line. This is just something what we're going to have to live with here through about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then the severe weather threat starts to taper off because the leading edge of the line by, let's say, 11 or 12, it starts to move into Louisiana. And then we've got much cooler and dry air. So if you have those afternoon plans Wednesday afternoon, I think you're going to be okay. I mean, we're going to be relatively dry. It will be a little windy just because the storm system is going to be real close and intensifying just off to our northeast. And there are those wind barbs right there. That wind will be ripping out of the northwest at about 20, even up to 25 miles per hour in some cases. Again, a couple of clouds Thursday morning, but rain chances are relatively limited. Let's talk about that severe weather outlook real quick. Again, this is for tonight. I'd say this is before about 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the reason why we don't have a slight risk for our area is because the storms aren't going to be here yet. So we're not going to see the storms needed to really enhance that risk. But again, marginal risk for our western counties. But as we move into tomorrow morning, that's when I do expect that risk to amplify a little bit for deep East Texas. We've got a level 2 slight risk for our deep East Texas counties. And again, I've already mentioned this, because the line is going to be bowing out. And for the sake of it being a line, too, damaging winds are going to be your primary threat. We're also going to have an area of heavy rain as well. And again, an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Now, let's just kind of rank these severe weather threats real quick for you. And again, heavy rain, it's going to be brief, so the flash flooding threat's going to be limited and confined only to tomorrow morning. The damaging wind threat, on the other hand, I mean, it's decent. It's at a medium. The hail threat remains low, and I'll get my big face out of the way just so you can see the tornado threat. And I don't have it at low because overall the tornado threat isn't zero or anything like that. It's just going to be relatively limited, but we could see 1 or 2 tornadoes spin up along the line, especially the further south you go where we do have more of that wind energy available. I mean, other than that, this is very beneficial rainfall. I mean, just check these rainfall totals out real quick. I mean, we could see an inch up to 1.5 inches of rain in some cases. They're showing up in the green, so we will certainly take that. Now, I don't think that this is going to put an end to the drought. We would need several inches of rain to do that, but it will put a dent in the drought for deep East Texas, which is certainly good news. And we'll get a new drought monitor out Thursday, so we'll be able to assess how this rain has affected the drought. But again, beneficial rainfall nonetheless. We just have to get through the potential of severe weather early tomorrow morning. Some rainfall possible over the next 6 to 10 days. I do expect another strong cold front next week, but we've got to get through this event, and it's a little too far out to talk about. But this is what's showing up on our forecast map for the middle part to late part of next week. Look at that. In our region, northern counties, 60s and 70s. Well, we could be warmer to the south just because we're always warmer to the south. High temperatures, though, will be in the 70s there. And this is valid from, let's say, next Monday all the way into next Thursday into Friday. So that is some good news there. But once again, guys, I mean, this is not a doomsday severe weather threat at all. It's just a common line of Texas thunderstorms that are moving through the area. Yes, they will be loud. Yes, it's probably going to affect your Wednesday morning commute. But again, we're not talking about a widespread severe weather outbreak, certainly not talking about a tornado outbreak. It's just going to be one of those situations where those areas that are prone to losing power might lose power because of, some tree limb damage that could occur from these damaging winds. And we may very well see, one of those isolated tornado or two. So have a plan in place just in case you do happen to, get one of those warnings on your smartphone or something like that. And all in all, guys, I mean, this will be very nice for us because, one, we're going to see some very heavy rain briefly with this, so flash flooding threat's relatively low because of the brief part of that statement, and we are also going to see much cooler temperatures with this as well. And of course, you know, going back to the heavy rain, that really helps our drought situation. But once again, meteorologist Andrew Samet and I will be here tracking the storms for you tomorrow morning. And a good tool to have if we do need to cut into programming. We'll do some digital stuff too through tomorrow, and you can find all that on our East Texas Storm Team app. Again, download it for free in the Apple iStore or the Android store, whatever device you have. You can get lightning and storm alerts. It's very important, especially if you're in a part of the area that doesn't get a lot of internet access. That can really help you if you don't have cable. This is also a useful tool. You can also get live Doppler radar updates and forecasts, and you can also share photos and videos with us. So once again, guys, don't stress about this rain event. I would just leave work a little earlier than you normally would because we will have those stronger storms out to the west. If you can delay your trip till the afternoon, that's the best bet. But I understand that, you know, a lot of you won't be able to do that. But once again, we'll be tracking the storms for you tomorrow morning. And yeah, have a good night.